说中文。
Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese. Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese.
Hi, Chinese Pod listeners. You're listening to an elementary lesson. My name is John.
Hello everyone, I'm Di Lu. And today we are back in the office again.
Yeah, so we're in the office and we're trying to find out if someone got our very important email.
Oh, what email?
Exactly. So before we get started, why don't we give our listeners a keyword?
Oh, you mean 邮件,邮件.
So that's the word for email, right?
是的.
And the tones are?
Second and fourth, 邮件.
Okay, got it. So in this dialogue coming up, you can expect to hear that a couple times.
And this dialogue is between two coworkers, right?
Yeah, so they're in the same office. All right, here we go. 3 times.
对话第一遍。
小吴，你给我回邮件了吗？
什么邮件？我没收到。
我昨天早上给你发了一个邮件。
哦，我看一下。
有吗？
没有。
不可能，我看一下。
第二遍。
小吴，你给我回邮件了吗？
什么邮件？我没收到。
我昨天早上给你发了一个邮件。
哦，我看一下。
有吗？
没有。
不可能，我看一下。
第三遍。
小吴，你给我回邮件了吗？
什么邮件？我没收到。
我昨天早上给你发了一个邮件。
哦，我看一下。
有吗？
没有。
不可能，我看一下。
And now the translation.
小吴，你给我回邮件了吗？
Xiao Wu, did you reply to my email?
小吴，你给我回邮件了吗？
Xiao Wu, did you reply to my email?
小吴，你给我回邮件了吗？什么邮件？我没收到。
What email? I haven't gotten it.
什么邮件？我没收到。
What email? I didn't get it.
什么邮件？我没收到。我昨天早上给你发了一个邮件。
Yesterday morning, I sent you an email.
我昨天早上给你发了一个邮件。
I sent you an email yesterday morning.
我昨天早上给你发了一个邮件。哦，我看一下。
Oh, let me take a look.
哦，我看一下。
Oh, I'll have a look.
哦，我看一下。有吗？
Do you have it?
有吗？
Is it there?
有吗？没有，
No.
没有，
No.
没有，不可能。我看一下。
That's impossible. I'll take a look.
不可能。我看一下。
That's impossible. Let me look.
不可能。我看一下。
All right, so this does happen from time to time, right? Someone claims they sent it, the other person claims they never got it.
Well, things like that happen all the time.
Are you implying some kind of like filtering?
You guys think that way, right?
Yeah?
Well, actually, I don't know. I'm Chinese. I don't know.
So to you, it's just innocent and you think maybe someone's lying, huh?
Or maybe it's an accident.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's look at the language. So the first question is important.
小吴，你给我回邮件了吗？
So Xiao Wu, the last name is Wu, right?
对
And this is how coworkers often address each other.
啊，没错，小吴，
So did you reply to my email again is
你给我回邮件了吗？你给我回邮件了吗？
Okay, so let's break this down. To say reply to an email is
We use the verb 回，回邮件，回邮件。
so hui, H-U-I, second tone, right?
是的，
So reply to an email is 回邮件.
没错。你给我 回邮件。
So before the 回邮件, we have this little phrase which tells us who you're replying to, right?
没错，你给我 like you to me.
Reply to an email.
没错，你给我回邮件了吗？
Okay, so to me, reply to an email, and then 了吗?
This 了吗 means did you do something?
Right, so the ma is a question particle. It tells us it's a yes-no question,
And usually we'll put it at the end of a sentence.
right? And then the le is referring to did you do something? Is it completed, right?
啊，没错，你给我回邮件了吗？你给我回邮件了吗？
Okay, so frequently in Chinese, if you just have a very simple did you do this type question, it's going to end in
了吗？了吗？
okay, so did you reply to my email? And the answer is
什么邮件？我没收到。
so it's not a direct reply to the question, right?
Obviously, he didn't know what she's talking about.
So the question is
什么邮件？什么邮件？
okay, so literally what email?
Yeah, that's easy to understand.
All right, and then he says
我没收到。我没收到。
so I haven't received it. I haven't gotten it.
Actually, this verb 收到 is very useful.
Yeah, to receive something. So what else can we use that for besides just emails?
Like you can 收到 some money
Like a wire transfer or something?
or 收到 a text message.
Or what about like a package delivery type thing?
也可以。
Okay, so 收到 to receive something.
还有 gifts.
Flowers, huh?
对对对对对。
All that great stuff. Okay, but he is negating this verb. He's saying he didn't receive it. And it's in the past, right? So we have a special way to negate things in the past.
Right, you say this word 没 in front of the verb. 没收到。没收到。
Okay, remember you have to use 没, not 不, right?
是的。
Okay, so I didn't get it.
我没收到。我没收到。
Welcome back to another installment of Chinese Pod Trivia. And the question for you is, for what test does Chinese Pod offer preparation services for? Is it A, the polygraph, B, the colonoscopy, C, the HSK test, or D, the CAT scan?
The CAT scan?
Ooh, sorry, that is incorrect. The correct answer is C, the HSK test. That's right, Chinese Pod will thoroughly prepare you to pass this rigorous test of proficiency in Chinese. ChinesePod.com/HSK.
Okay, next comes probably the most complex sentence in this dialogue. So let's hear it.
我昨天早上给你发了一个邮件。我昨天早上给你发了一个邮件。
Okay, now first we should notice that there's a time here, right?
昨天早上。昨天早上。
So yesterday morning.
And usually it comes right after the subject.
Yeah, in Chinese, the time word comes right after the subject normally, not at the end of the sentence, right?
No, never.
Okay, so can we hear the sentence again?
我昨天早上给你发了一个邮件。
Okay, so here again we have the 给你 before the verb, right?
是
So to you.
给你
Now let's look at this verb phrase. This is the part we want to focus on now.
发了一个邮件。发了一个邮件。
Okay, so 发 is the verb meaning to send out, right?
没错，发邮件 to send a email。
Okay, 发 is first tone, right?
是的，第一声发邮件
But this person wants to say sent a email.
发了一个邮件。发了一个邮件。
Okay, so 一个 tells us there's one, right?
对，
This is the most basic measure word. There are other measure words, and there's one you can use for 邮件, but you can also use the simple one, which is what we recommend for now.
对，一个邮件。
And then we have this 了 right after the verb, right?
Yes, it means the action is completed.
Right, and you're going to see 了 again and again. Don't analyze it too much at this point. Just remember that for this sentence, it comes right after the verb.
Yeah, let's try to memorize this structure.
Okay, so I sent you an email is
我给你发了一个邮件。我给你发了一个邮件。
okay, so now he says he's going to check, right?
对，他说，哦，我看一下。 我看一下。
And the next question is kind of interesting, right?
为什么啊？
Because there's two ways to translate it in English.
哦，有吗？有吗？
I think it's interesting because to us in our minds, we want to know, well, are they asking, is it there? Or are they asking, do you,
Do you
have
have
it?
it?
But the Chinese response to that question is,
没有。Well, it doesn't matter. It means the same thing.
yeah, it is the same thing, right? So it'll take some time to get used to that attitude. It's the same.
是的，
Okay, but anyway, does he have it?
没有，没有。
Okay, but the girl finds this hard to believe, right?
对，他说不可能，不可能
So it's impossible.
，impossible。
This is one word that means impossible, right?
哎，是的，
So this is really useful for all kinds of situations when you don't believe it, right?
没错，
Can we hear this with like a lot of conviction?
不可能
Oh, great. Okay, and then she says again,
啊！我看一下，我看一下。
so that means she's in the office with him and she wants to look at his inbox to see if he doesn't know what he's doing or if he's lying or something.
Wow, so she doesn't trust him at all, and
Or
maybe,
maybe he just doesn't know how to use a computer.
maybe. Does it common to you? Does it sound a little weird? Like if I say like, John, let me take a look at your email.
Well, I would never let anyone do that.
Oh,
It depends on the person. All right, but anyway, we have a few other cultural issues that we're going to talk about after we listen to the dialogue 3 more times.
对话第一遍，
小吴，你给我回邮件了吗？
什么邮件？我没收到。
我昨天早上给你发了一个邮件，
哦，我看一下。
有吗？
没有。
不可能，我看一下。
第二遍，
小吴，你给我回邮件了吗？
什么邮件？我没收到。
我昨天早上给你发了一个邮件，
哦，我看一下。
有吗？
没有。
不可能，我看一下。
第三遍，
小吴，你给我回邮件了吗？
什么邮件？我没收到。
我昨天早上给你发了一个邮件，
哦，我看一下。
有吗？
没有。
不可能，我看一下。
So, hey, Dilu, before we talk about that culture stuff, I want to ask you a few other questions.
okay. What are they?
So, at the very beginning of the dialogue, we had a question about did you reply to my email, right?
没错，你给我回邮件了吗？你给我回邮件了吗？
Now, we might just want to say, yeah, I replied to it. What if we want to just say, I replied?
Well, it's quite easy. Use the verb 回. You can just simply say 回了。
回了, so I replied.
对，
All right, and if I want to say, I didn't reply,
没回。Well, but this may sound a little too abrupt.
okay. Okay, but then one other question. We know how to say, I didn't get it, right?
我没收到，我没收到。
But if we want to just say, I got it, I received it.
你可以说我收到了，收到了。
All right, so that's pretty easy. Now, about the culture stuff,
Yes.
I'm wondering, do Chinese people have the same email checking habits as, for example, Americans? Any idea?
How often do you check your email?
Pretty often.
Like every 3 minutes?
No, but probably about 10 times a day.
Wow, that's quite often.
What about you?
Well, I check email a couple times a day, but compared to other Chinese,
Like people your age?
yeah, like
People in their 20s?
I think I check my email more frequently than, most of the Chinese people.
Than a lot of young people? So maybe a
Yeah.
lot of young people only check once a day?
Maybe once a day, maybe once every couple days.
I see. Yeah, my wife, I can't say how old she is, but she's a bit older than you. And she checks about once a day. But I know there are some young people, maybe even younger than you, that check like a couple times a week, right?
Yeah, some of them. Email is not as often used here.
What about your parents?
Well, they don't even have an email address.
Yeah, my mother-in-law, my Chinese mother-in-law, doesn't have an email address. My father-in-law does, But if I send him an email, I have to call him and tell him to check his email.
And I met an American business lady a while ago, and she sent me an email one morning at 7 o'clock. And then she's like, oh, like, thanks for your email, and I already received it, and can I call you now?
Now?
Yeah, 7 o'clock in the morning. Who's going to check email so early? So I just assume that she checks her email quite often, so she assumes other people does the same thing.
Yeah, but in China, that may not be the case. So you might want to ask your Chinese colleagues or your friends or whatever how often they check their email.
That's interesting. Hope this lesson is useful to you guys.
All right, we'll see you on ChinesePod.com. 再见.
再见.
As usual, ChinesePod provides an extensive selection of learning materials for this lesson on its website, www.chinesepod.com. You can access this lesson directly with the lesson number
1705.
So just go to www.chinesepod.com/1705 and you will find a transcript, vocabulary, and much more. The link again, www.chinesepod.com/1705.